Okay, so hey everyone, welcome back to G League. As always, I am Basekip. This is our second game of a best of 3 set between LGD.int and LGD China. And that's a bit of a mouthful, tongue twister. Say that 10 times fast. Whatever you want to hear. Anyway, we're going to be getting underway with this game in just a minute. LGD.int go for a really aggressive lineup. Last game couldn't quite connect that aggression in the end. Defensive tri-lane from LGD China, perhaps just a little bit too strong. With two 600 range supports and the Lunar Blessing aura on top of it. Got out-leveled just because of the pulls that they were running exquisitely, and from there game sort of fell apart a little bit at the seams. So Sven is going to be the ban this time. The international side are going to have the first pickup, so they might be able to force the Magnus through the pool, though LGD China may just opt to ban that out with their second ban. Again, with the new drafting structure and with a few of the hero tweaks that we've been seeing lately, we've seen a lot of variety in terms of these games, though a few new flavor of the month heroes have sort of bubbled their way to the surface. I guess the one big noteworthy one has been the Nyx. People discovering that those low ranks of mana burn, even just rank 1, are just so powerful in turning one hero into, I guess, a completely useless right clicker. So able to turn around, well, able to keep offlane heroes off their offlane, able to shut down offensive tri-lanes, fantastic in offensive tri-lanes of his own. Nyx has really been finding footing in terms of his pick. Sven is going to be the ban out for LGD.int. AoE physical damage, as always, is still just so powerful, and something that I've wanted to touch on, but I maybe haven't in a bit, is that dealing with AoE physical damage is expensive. The only way to deal with Flak Cannon and Sven's Cleave, and to a smaller extent the Bouncing Glaives from the Luna, is Ghost Scepters. Ghost Scepters and Ethereal Blades and anything else that can make you ethereal like Pugnist or Crepify. That's about it. Undying's going to be the ban for LGD.int, so shutting down any potential of an Undying fueled aggressive tri-lane, and they're actually going to opt to use their first pick to get the Nyx this time around. We'll see if they're able to connect some ganks. Last game, LGD China's supports just had too much gold. Were able to keep the sentries rolling once they sort of got into that death ball. And once they got into the death ball, they weren't forced to leave at all. There was nothing to try and pick heroes off or punish the clumping or anything like that over on LGD.int. So we'll see if they get a little bit more of a mixed bag in terms of their lineup this time around. Last game, it was nothing but heroes that dominate in the early game, and that was end of story. So LGD are going to opt to pick up the Lone Druid and the Magnus here, so two fairly farm-dependent heroes to start us off. Expect perhaps some support bans from the international side right here, and they're just going to play it safe. They're going to opt to pick up their carry here. In the Luna, we might see Nyx run mid one more time, though he would be up against the Magnus or the Lone Druid. The Magnus, fueled by Bottle Crowing, wouldn't be a bad matchup against the Nyx. So, no, the mana burn will still hurt him, and there is the potential, as always, for some spiked Carapace Reflects. And Shadow Demon's going to be the pickup as well, so it looks like we might just see a defensive tri-lane from LGD.int, though. Nyx, Luna, and SD wouldn't be a terrible offensive tri-lane in its own right. LGD still have a whole bunch of picks to try and pick up some good defensive tri-lane supports. Something like the Keeper of the Light or the Jakira are both fantastic on that flavor of lane, and the Rubik not half bad himself. The Nyx matchup versus the Keeper of the Light can be a little bit difficult. Obviously, Caudle does have the Chakra Magic to keep the mana flowing, but that just means that the mana burn continues to hurt. And effectively, if he's focused by the Nyx mana burn, then all he's losing is health and forced to Chakra Magic himself. So Rubik's going to be picked up here as that support for LGD. Not sure if they're going to be running, well, don't think they're going to be running an offensive tri-lane perhaps with the heroes that they have right now. They could switch over that way and leave the Lone Druid to solo up on top, but we'll have to see. And I guess the LGD sound files are being used for both teams here in terms of the LGD's turn to ban, LGD's turn to pick. In terms of bans, what have we got for LGD.int? It's going to be the Brewmaster and the Beastmaster. So I guess two masters there. They are sort of both playmaking heroes. LGD still do have space for sort of one more farm-dependent hero, and LGD China, sorry, and LGD.int sort of have space for two of their own. If they're looking to run an aggressive tri-lane, then they want a safe lane solo carry and their mid. They could try to run a really weird duo mid, or put the Nyx there solo. Again, I guess I touched briefly on that matchup against the Magnus. Against the Lone Druid, he's going to have a hell of a time, and LGD China could just opt to put the Magnus on their safe lane, try and get the Blink Dagger up quickly. So another option there, depending on whether they think LGD.int are running the Nyx on mid, or whether they're trying to run an aggressive tri-lane. But LGD.int, they are now down a game, so maybe just looking to play it safe here, though not sure how they'd feel about trying to outfarm the Chinese side. Again, they are sort of a little bit less tried and tested than the Chinese squad at the moment, so going for slightly more unconventional plays could try and win them some ground, since the execution is probably going to be slightly better on the Chinese side. Speaking of the Chinese side, they've opted to ban out the Darkseer and the Night Stalker here. The Darkseer banned out again. He could have headed towards mid. LGD.int could just choose to run a defensive tri-lane right now, try and get a whole bunch of farm up on the Luna, though she is quite soft, and up against the Lone Druid and the Magnus, might have a few troubles in these team fights. The Shadow Demon pick obviously going to help out with that disruption. So LGD.int, how are they going to choose to round this off? Again, they don't necessarily need to ban out the Coddle if they're running an aggressive tri-lane. So it's going to be the Enigma here. So maybe just looking to run a defensive tri, shutting out that safe jungling option though. If LGD are looking for that, they could still just pick up the Chen or the Enchantress, something along those lines. Try and outstrip LGD.int in terms of farm. Kunkka is actually the ban for LGD. I guess he is a bit of a cheesy combo with the Shadow Demon. We used to see the old mouse sports running that for a while, and to great effect, I might add, on the middle lane. And since then, Kunkka sort of has fallen out of favor. I guess it's not fair to say that he fell out of favor, since he wasn't really in favor to start with, but we have seen Kunkka in the competitive scene sort of in recent memory. And the recent changes to his Ghost Ship down to a 40-second cooldown at max rank makes it a great teamfight ability, even if you don't connect the boat for the stun or the damage. That the Coco's rum buff is just so strong in terms of the damage reduction. Tidehunter is going to be the pickup here for LGD.int, so looking to grab some more AoE teamfight of their own. Tidehunter perhaps a little bit of a weak pick, and not sure where they're going to be laning him right now. Looks like it might actually be the Nyx heading mid one more time. Should find a reasonable matchup regardless, but with that Tidehunter, I think LGD.cn might just send the Lone Druid mid, and Lone Druid doesn't really need mana to harass Nyx out of that lane. We're going to see Lina one more time as another support here for LGD China. So we'll see. We will see how this works out for them. I mean, I guess they're just calling the fact that LGD.int are now running a defensive tri-lane. They could run an aggressive tri-lane with Luna, Shadow Demon, and Tidehunter, but there's not all that much burst damage. And yeah, Chen's going to be the pickup here. So how is it going to work out? It might just be an off-lane Tide, just trying to soak up as much XP as he can. Chen is going to be in the jungle. Again, LGD could just run pulls down on bot. They've got fairly good heroes to shut down whatever LGD's offlaner is going to be. And speaking of offlaners, Bounty Hunter hasn't been banned. He's made it all the way through the pool, and in my opinion, he's the best offlaner in the game. So I would not be surprised to see LGD China pick that up right now. And I almost feel like I'm going blind, because I'm really, really surprised that he hasn't been banned out. I mean, LGD, if they're looking for another offlaner, the Beastmaster was banned, the Windrunner stays in the pool. There aren't that many options. They could put the Lone Druid there and then pick up a carry, send the Magnus mid, but again, I wouldn't be surprised to see them send the Lone Druid mid, Magnus on that safe lane, and then just pick up another offlaner at the moment. Again, Bounty Hunter, not a bad choice whatsoever. So what's it going to be for LGD China? I'm calling the Bounty Hunter, though they could still surprise me. Send the Lone Druid on the offlane, and then maybe pick a ganker or one of those sort of mid-game teamfighty heroes for the top lane, get some farm up on that. Or they could even choose a mid who they feel is a good matchup against Nyx, put the Magnus up on top. And it's actually going to be Invoker, so maybe a safe lane Invoker? We'll have to see in just a second. Anyway, getting into the game, going to see who's playing what. So it's going to be Zhao 8 on the Invoker. So looks like it's just going to be a mid Invoker. This game, Sylar is going to be on the Lone Druid. SC or DD, whatever you want to call him, is going to be on the Lina. DDC is going to be on the Rubik. And that leaves Yao to play this Magnus. Over on LGD.int, just as G disconnects, we're going to have Brax playing the Tidehunter. 1437 is going to be on the Shadow Demon, so as expected in that support role. G is going to be on the Nyx Assassin, Pycat playing the carry, as we would expect on the Luna, and Misery going to be jungling again on this Chen. And everyone disconnecting right now. Ping apparently a bit of an issue. Not sure if we're going to see a remake or anything like that. Maybe just waiting around until this stabilizes. So we'll have to see. And I guess Muffin Man found his way into the game. Part of the Australian Dota scene. Well, I guess the Oceanic Dota scene. Some of you may have seen his video that he recently posted on the Dota 2 subreddit about how to deward pull camps and things like that. So I guess shout out to him. He doesn't know me. I've seen him around. And he's part of ODL as well, so I guess I might play him a little bit in future. Anywho, everyone connecting and disconnecting for now. Let's just size up, I guess, a couple of core components in terms of teamfight and skirmish and chasing and things like that for both teams. So for the Chinese side, they've got some good lockdown, they've got some good stuns between the Rubik, the Luna, obviously the Magnus, and the Invoker, depending on which build he's going, is going to at least have the Cold Snap. Pretty much regardless. The Entangle on the Bear, a little bit unreliable, but is going to be there as well. And yeah, it looks like everything is just freaking out for the minute. In terms of team fight, I mean, LGD round things off quite well as well. They've got the Magnus, they've got the Invoker, who could perhaps even afford to go Quaz Exort this game. Might need might need some heavy points in the Quaz to try and deal with the Nyx. If he goes Quaz Exort, then he's going to obviously have all those points in the Exort to just try and outlast hit the Nyx, even if he's sitting down there low on mana. But since the Nyx's mana burn is based on int, going Quaz Exort might not be the best choice in the world. That mana burn is always going to hurt, but if he sits down on low mana, shouldn't be doing all that much. I'm not sure if the Nyx mana burn is supposed to deal full damage even if the person is out of mana. Destroys magic. No, it's damage equal to mana burn. So if Invoker is out of mana, then he's not really at threat from that burst damage there. So Quaz Exort might be an option here, and they've got some pretty good setup between the Rubik and the Luna. The Telekinesis into the Light Strike Array, Sunstrike on top, going to be a lot of damage. And what's it going to be in terms of lanes? Not sure. Still just waiting for everyone to reconnect. Having a quick look over on LGD's side in terms of teamfight, they've obviously got a good stun from the Impale, fairly spammable there with only 11-second cooldown, and then they've got the Ravage and the Eclipse on the Luna. Hand of God going to be coming into play as well, and the Shadow Demon Chen combo, one that we haven't seen for a while. The send back into the disruption is a fairly reliable way to keep people alive as well, so we might see that comboed off a couple of times in this game, though it is a lot more difficult for Chen now with the change to the send back, the teleportation being moved from the Holy Persuasion across to Test of Faith. So that's a little bit unfortunate for him. It's also less spammable. The cooldown is much longer now compared to what would have been normally 2 Holy Persuasions in a team fight. Well, what was previously 2 Holy Persuasion teleports in a team fight, it's now effectively only 1 with the Test of Faith teleport. So not quite the same combo with the disruption that it used to be. And it looks like everyone has now reconnected. Again, in terms of lanes, not sure what we're going to be seeing. We might see some weak offlaners here, so perhaps Brax is normally the offlaner for LGD.int, probably heading that way on the Tide, just trying to hide in the trees as much as he can. Just soak up XP. All he needs to do, his only job right now, is to get enough XP to get to level 6 and get the Ravage and not to die. That's it, end of story. Looks like it might be the offlane Magnus here, since we did see this Invoker pickup. And again, Magnus's offlane potential was nerfed quite heavily with the change to the Skewer, though with 2 points up in that, once he hits level 3, we'll be able to hug the creep wave a little bit closer than the Tidehunter could hope to. And looks like still a few connection issues for now. Again, I'm surprised to see that LGD China didn't opt to pick up the Bounty Hunter, though perhaps they feel that both the Bounty Hunter and the Lone Druid want space, and they want other people to set up their kills so that they can get rolling. So maybe that's the decision there, though Bounty Hunter can be a little bit of a playmaker sort of in his own right. So again, we'll have to see as always. Starting items were just coming online for everyone right now. Yeah, not actually pulled any regen. It's actually, I guess, it's identical builds for the Tidehunter and the Magnus here. So it might be a fairly fair comparison of their offlaning potential, but I think you have to sort of give the upper hand a little bit to the Magnus in this case. Tidehunter's only real option is hope for lucky Kraken shells and then just hide in the trees. Magnus can afford to play up a little bit more. Last hit with that ridiculous range Shockwave now. I mean, 1,150 is the max range on that, so that's absolutely huge. Can get safe last hits with that, and then has a fairly reliable escape in the skewer. And again, yeah, pauses are sort of the name of the game for Dota, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it gives us casters and commentators some time to try and be entertaining and things like that. And everyone's still just struggling for connection. We've now got all of LGD China connecting in and all of LGD.int disconnecting. And a few people coming back in. Unfortunately, I can't check the ping since I'm not actually a spectator in the game, so that's a little bit unfortunate. And Toby says he needs a remake. Toby accidentally left the game. Oh, Lord Toby. That's not good. We might see a remake. There might actually be a second game up already. I don't know. Is that the correct game? Is that the game I'm spectating right now? Not sure. If someone can update me on what's happening on one of the actual live streams. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. Commentator running out of stuff to commentate. Well, what do you want me to talk about, Twitch chances? There's just not that much going on right now. I mean, it looks like we're just waiting around for perhaps a remake, something like that. Toby left the game, so we'll have to see. I'll just hit spectate on this game again. Maybe that's already the remake. It's hard to talk when nothing is going on. It's definitely difficult. I'm not a stand-up comic or anything like that. Yeah, it looks like Toby completely left the game. And Toby's left the game, and looks like he might just have to. Well, it looks like he's just gonna have to spectate. So that's a little bit unfortunate for him. But anyway, I guess I'll run over who's playing what again, just since we have had such a long pause. So Brax is gonna be playing the Tidehunter. 1437 is gonna be on that Shadow Demon. G or God is gonna be on the Nyx. It's gonna be Misery on the Chen. In this game, Pycat, as expected, gonna be on the carry. The Luna. We've got Yao on the Magnus. It's SC or DD on the Lena. We've got Zhao 8 playing the Invoker, heading towards mid. Looks like it hasn't been pulled any region, starting off with the Null and the Tango. So it might be Quaswex here. Would not normally expect to see the Null if it was Quas Exort, since he would have that bonus lasting potential from the points in Exort. It's going to be Sylar on the Lone Druid, and DDC is going to be playing the Rubik in this game.
30 seconds to battle.
And what are lanes going to be? How is this all going to work out for both teams? Looks like LGD are actually, LGD.int perhaps running a tri-lane on top. I mean, Brax is definitely going to be on that off lane. 1437 maybe just camping out the rune for now. Misery, not a whole lot that he can do at level 1, unfortunately. And the Bear now going to be heading up onto the high ground, just scouting out. And LGD.int scatter. Looks like LGD China have managed to secure this rune, though if it spawns bot, looks like Pycat's going to be able to get a handle on that. So it's an invis for him. We've already got wards down for the Dire side. Radiant holding on to theirs for now. Do they actually have any picked up? No, they don't. No, they do. They've got one observer, so Misery's going to plop one down up here. Very unlikely to be dewarded in this position, though it doesn't afford the best sight. And 1437 already looking for a ward up over here, but not going to spot one out. And it is going to be the offlane Magnus. It is going to be the offlane Tidehunter. Interesting to see that Tidehunter maybe doesn't start in the jungle with the Chen for a little bit. He could be stacking up camps for the Chen to clear up later, try and get some XP that way. It looks like that's actually what 1437 is going for right now. The mid matchup is going to be the Invoker against the Nyx. Invoker can be pretty happy to just spam his spells early on. Again, once he starts to run out of mana, the Nyx mana burn doesn't hurt him as much. And it's sort of an inevitability that he's going to be owned at some point. So we're going to see the Cold Snap right now. We've got a loop around ready for LGD.int. This is a very early gank, and they got a lucky Centaur to start. In comes the smoke. Do they have level 2 up on the Shadow Demon? No, they don't. It's only the disruption, but LGD.int is right under the tower. This is perfect positioning for the Centaur Stomp. There's the Stomp, trying to make it off to the side, but the right click looks like it's going to be too much. So the first blood will be drawn by Misery. Good play by LGD.int and the start that they really needed. So that's effectively mid lane run 1 right now for LGD.int. And looks like Nyx already has his bottle flying out with that little bit of bonus gold that he got. And Zhao, I guess a little bit unfortunate for him, he's now back on full mana, so the mana burn is going to be harassing him down. Again, G actually going to get cold snapped up, being harassed back fairly badly. And Brax manning up a little bit on top, though he still doesn't have any XP to speak of just yet. The stun is actually going to connect, but in comes LGD.int. There's the disruption, looking for the stomp. It does connect. The telekinesis is there on the Centaur, throwing it back. Everyone on LGD.int getting stunned, but it's one more kill going their way right now, and Misery picking up another one there. Now have level 2 up on the Shadow Demon. Brax not quite to level 2 since he didn't have any XP before that kill whatsoever, but this roaming gank squad from the Shadow Demon and the Chen finding kills, doing a great job of getting LGD.int off to a great start in this game. Looks like they're just going to be hanging out on top for now. Maybe just threatening, keeping at least the LGD China supports in lane for now. And G fortunately going to head down towards bot and spot out a regen. So that spells a little bit of trouble for the Invoker, though he does have 2 points up in the Quaz. So he's going to be extremely difficult to kill. Has all of that bonus HP and the bonus regen. And G actually flubbing the stun there, not quite connecting. Our matchup down on bot is actually a solo Pycat against the Yao Magnus. So Luna versus Magnus. Luna does have the harass. Obviously she's got the upper hand being ranged, though her range isn't the best in the game, obviously. Only down at, I want to say, 330. So again, not the best, and LGD.int looks like they're going for the gank one more time. Considering going up towards top, maybe a little bit of disagreement there. Looks like 1437 wanted to go mid, though Zhao does now have that 1 point up in the Wex. Though there are sentries, so maybe the Ghost Walk wouldn't have been the most reliable way to escape. 147 now moving forward, aggroing the creeps for some reason there. DDC maybe in trouble. There goes the Gush. Can they get in range for the Soul Catch? No, well, in the range for the disruption. There it is. The stun connects, but only on the Ursa. There's the clap. DDC dropping low. The nuke as well. One more right click is going to do it. Well played by LGD.int. And the telekinesis back, not even enough to slow the chase. Do we actually have boots picked up on almost everyone right now? Yes, we do. And a quick check over on the Chinese side. We don't have boots on either of those supports, so those early boots picked up for LGD.int, doing work at the moment. Quick check in on the last hits. Neither carry all that shut down for now, and G actually pulling ahead on mid. Was able to go really aggressive with that regen rune that he had picked up. Just so much spell spam. Though Zhao still on full HP, 3 points invested in the Quaz. Again, it's sort of a survival lane for him, and he will be able to pick up the 4-minute rune. So a little bit of a benefit for him insofar as the Nyx not going to be able to pick that one up. And we've actually got an aggressive jungle Chen in this game. A little bit unusual to see, but LGD.int pulling it off, and I guess doing something a little bit unexpected does give them the upper hand again against the Chinese team, who are probably a little bit better practice. Going for these sort of unusual, I guess what some would call pocket strats, is going to be a big help. Unfortunately, they didn't clear out this brown Ursa before, so they don't have a big creep right now. Looks like Misery is just going to pull this out, get the stack, and then grab whatever creep is there, hoping his lucky stars that he's going to find something good. Again, Invoker is completely out of mana on mid, so the mana burn isn't hurting him all that much. And what is it? It's a Satyr Hellcaller. A little bit unfortunate there. Will pick it up, but that's going to slow down the aggression a little bit for LGD.int, and even throwing down the Soul Catcher just to make sure that they clean up this camp as quickly as possible. A little bit unlucky for 1437 that it didn't connect on the Brown Ursa, since it is the highest HP target in the camp. So up on top, Sylar a little bit left alone a little bit for now, and this pull not actually blocked out by LGD.int. So I guess happy to let LGD China pull for now, since it did mean that they were able to get a few kills up on those supports in lane, though they will be catching up fairly quickly. Zana moving forward down onto the low ground, but LGD.int goes straight in the other direction for now. Moving up towards top. Again, this Satyr Hellcaller is not the best creep in the world to try and get these ganks off. And DDC a little bit separated from his teammates right now. The bear is going to spot out this aggression fantastically. So looks like LGD might just be fine to retreat back to the safety of their tower. I guess worth noting that the Dire safe lane isn't as safe as the Radiant safe lane. So there are more opportunities for LGD.int to try and make things happen up here, since there's only really the one avenue into the big juke spot in the trees, which is through here. And Misery doing a great job of just harassing these supports down. Again, the Satyr is not the best creep, though he is going to have, well, he's going to be able to pick up that Centaur in just a second, so keeping tabs on that. Maybe wants to get up to level 5 beforehand. And where is G? Looks like he's actually moving into the lane now up to level 6, has the Vendetta, regen rune as well. They've now dominated up the Centaur. Not enough time for Misery to get up to level 5. G moving around, and DDC is in a bad spot. There's the Vendetta and the stun on top. The Soul Catcher, a few more right clicks picking up that kill. A little bit of bad positioning there from DDC. Not sure quite where he was heading. Trying to come back in with the creep wave, but LGD.int find a window and they grab it perfectly. Sylar going to be spotted out there by the site from the Shadow Poison. Great stun through from SC. Going to put an end to that aggression, but it looks like he might be the target here. A few more right clicks on the bear, and LGD.int just want to force a few more TPs. The stun goes through, but looks like SC is the target. Trying to juke for now, but the Soul Catcher going to reveal him off, or at least revealing his position in the fog. 147 with the defensive disruption for now, keeping the bear off him. So Sylar, all he can do is sit back and watch from the sidelines. We've now finally got heroes moving to position, but Zhao doesn't really have all that much mana to speak of, trying to clarity up as best he can, but doesn't even have a full combo. He has to decide between throwing the Tornado and throwing the Cold Snap at the moment, so just going to be waiting off to the side for now. And LGD.int trying to turn this advantage into a tower as well. They're up 5 kills for now. XP in their favor, along with gold as well. Yao continues to farm up down on bot. Free farm for him though. Seems like LGD.int undeterred, forcing heroes up lane. Still splitting XP up 5 ways, but they do have a jungler running, so helping to mitigate that loss a little bit. So for now, DDC going to get hit by that Lucent Beam. How many points do we have up in the Lunar Aura? It's only 2, though they do have a fully charged rank 6. Clips is going to be 1 kill going down on SC, a little bit out of position there. Yao comes through, looking for the skewer, doesn't connect on anyone. There's a defensive disruption on G. Pops at the double damage, well, it's a defensive disruption on 1437, sorry. He's being chased down by Yao. Can they connect this kill? There's a stun through. Looks like 1437 is going to be fine to make it out. Quick check in on what's happening over here. Looks like everyone's managed to disengage, so it's just the 1 kill going either way there. We've got more wards down, and LGD.int still just trying to stake their claim up on top. We've got a Troll Trap on Zhao, looking to kill off the Troll here. Again, Chan needs to be a little bit more careful with his creeps as compared to the Enchantress, but, I mean, offensive jungle action expected from the Enchantress, unexpected from the Chen, and I guess LGD.int catching LGD China a little bit unawares there, where they've almost got the Ravage available as well. They do have that Eclipse in tow. The reverse polarity is available for LGD China. Both teams posturing for now, but SC is just so far away. No boots to try and get in position either. Might actually be caught out here, and LGD China, they're deathballing underneath their tower, but it's a defensive deathball. They're a little bit behind in terms of levels, and don't really have those ultimates to speak of. These supports not as high level as the ones over on LGD.int, and even just a few hundred points of XP really making the difference right now. LGD.int trying to dodge XP to get that Ravage online, but it might be Brax's death. He's cold snapped up. 147 moving in, considering the defensive disruption, but Brax able to make it out. There's the Soul Catcher. It does connect. Fantastic stun. Connects on the bear as well. 1 already dead. Yao not able to get that ultimate off. The bear dropping low. A few stacks up on it. I guess a little bit buggy since the stack number does display behind its HP bar. Somebody report that. Pycat moving forward. The bear's going to be dragged out, but DDC, the mini stun up on him. G trying to make it forward aggressively. He's going to be stunned up, sent back. Stick charge is keeping him alive. Actually reflecting the stun onto SC, who now takes a fall. And LGD.int, they're now on top and happy with it. And again, Hand of God now available. They've got all those ultimates coming online. The Ravage is available, and if Brax pops those stick charges, he will have that. So LGD China all drawn away from their lanes, looking to hold on to their tier 1 for a very long time. Maybe looking to try and take the fights head on, but weren't able to connect, especially against the disruption from the Shadow Demon, keeping people alive. And we haven't even seen the send back used. Happy to keep everyone in these fights for now. And even just minor things like the Lunar Blessing making a big difference at this early stage in the game, where a few right clicks can spell the difference between life and death. So everyone's wards have almost run out right now. We saw a bunch dedicated up towards top. There was a pack of sentries picked up for LGD China. Nobody's really got sight for now, and LGD.cn just reeling a little bit, not even sure what lanes they're going to. Sylar's got some good farm, keeping pace with Pycat for now, but looks like LGD.int know exactly what they're doing right now, and LGD China playing reactionary Dota at the moment. G's gonna come around, only connect the stun on one. The troll trap is there as well. Looks like Xiao8 might be killed off. Great tornado there. Not gonna be able to escape, however. Looks like the carapace went down there from G as the damage fell. The ravage pops just for Yao, not able to get the reverse polarity off there. It's 2 more kills going the way of LGD.int, and now 10 kills the lead, over 3k XP, 5k gold. G's got some mana boots online. Brax can pick up some of his own, and Misery, very early mech for him. 4 kills, 5 assists as well. Playing fantastically on this gen. And for now, the push is just unrelenting. They've got the Lunar Blessing to back it up, and LGD just don't really have the turtle to back it up at the moment. They don't have anything like the Keeper of the Light. I think, again, as I talked about in the draft, they were expecting LGD.int to just be playing a defensive tri-lane, leave the Tidehunter on the off-lane. Chen was just going to be in the defensive tri-laning. But yeah, finding that early game aggression with the Chen, a little bit unusual. I guess that Centaur to start was quite lucky for the first blood on the Invoker. But playing fantastically from there on out, and still yet to drop a death just yet. Nyx Assassin getting quite farmed. Looks like he's just heading towards a blink. Again, more aggression that LGD China just don't really have the heroes to punish. I mean, we touched on the Lone Druid needing space to farm up, and space that LGD.cn just haven't been able to provide. I mean, he's going to have his Relic in 1200 gold, but in comes the gank. The Gush gets the slow off. He's quite tanky in that bear form, but is he going to be able to man mode this up? Just walk straight back into his death. No supports waiting around for him. We've got Yao moving towards mid, but just not all that much farm. Got reasonable farm down on bot, but 2 back-to-back deaths for him without finding anything in Nyx. Now with the Blink Dagger picked up, just dropping into the side shop for that one. There's mana boots galore for LGD.int. We don't see an urn or anything like that. They do still have some good HP regen. We did see, at least for a little bit, that Satyr Hellcaller. So the +3 regen aura there, a little bit of a help. And Yao trying to pick up the tier 1 on mid, but Teepers are going to come through, and he doesn't actually manage to skewer down onto the low ground. The stun comes up. Looks like it's going to be Yao taking a fall here. Maybe just expecting to have that 1200 range skewer, but falling a little bit short with only 800 there. So LGD.int add 1 more kill to the tally. It's 12 for them right now. And Pycat just heading straight towards a BKB. Only needs to farm up another 1600 for that. There's still a lot of gold locked up in towers right now. DDC is just solo farming down on bot, a little bit unusual to see, but having level 6 up is going to be a big help for them. But LGD.int, we saw the relentless 5-man from LGD China last game as soon as they knew that they were on top and that they could take the team fights convincingly. It's exactly what LGD.int are doing right here, and EMP not going to connect on anyone there. Invoker just has so many points up in the quads. So, I'm maybe not expecting that combo to be connecting quite like that. G is chasing down Sylar on top. Isn't in the bear form, so it doesn't have that bonus survivability. The bear now slowing him down since it does have that Orb of Venom. And the bear not actually auto-attacking right as the carapace pops. Great play by Sylar, but the stun comes through. That's going to be 1 kill by G there. And 1 more on the tally. 13 the lead for LGD.int. Happy to back off for now. Happy to just get a little bit more farm up. They've now got the Purge up on the Shadow Demon. And 1437, again, a little bit odd. Opting for more points in the Shadow Poison before maxing out that catcher. LGD China manning up, trying to get the tier 1 on mid. It is quite low. They're bringing 4 heroes here. They're playing it scared. But again, I don't think they can take these full-scale engagements right now. And Silo just can't contribute all that much. I mean, falling behind now in terms of gold. The tier 1 on bot in a little bit of trouble. LGD.int send 2 heroes mid, and they send 4 heroes scattering, sort of like bowling pins there. And I'm bad at analogies, so don't hate me for that one. But LGD.int probably just waiting around for that BKB to finish up on Pycat. He's almost up to level 11 as well. Misery can pick up some arcane boots as well. It's going to be a big help against the Invoker EMP, though he's not all that highly leveled. The EMP is going to connect on all of the Chen Creep's mech, keeping them alive for now. So just popping that one off. G moving in from the side for the backstab, but we do have these defensive sentry wards up for LGD China, so finding their footing a little bit more, but looks like G is just slightly outside of range there. I don't think he's in sight. Now reveals himself off. Zhao going to throw out that right click, and there's the slow, the gush. Not even the skewer, the impale comes through, sorry. Defensive disruption on G just to buy him some time. The tier 1 takes the fall in the background. LGD now grouped up. There's a soul catcher on Zhao. They're just trying to buy space for Sylar to farm. He's going to have the relic soon, but just so far away from that radiance. The kill discrepancy is just absolutely ridiculous right now. I hazard to look at the XP at farm, but it's getting up towards 6k XP in favor of the international side and 10k gold right now. All of those towers in their hands. And G just going to be hiding down in the tree line for now. Does have that blink dagger picked up. Looking for the two-man stun. Does connect. Dow comes in, but the Ravage hits as well. DDC able to steal the Ravage. Turns it around, but the tornado flying through. Just not quite at the right time. There's the slow. There's the disruption. Everyone's swarming on top. Sylar's still farming for now. It's effectively 4v5. Everyone on LGD.int just having something to contribute early on, and Sylar is just the Radiance carrier. Might be able to pick up this tower, but the TP is already coming through, and Sylar is running for it right now. Only basic boots for him. G comes through, chasing, throws down the blink, gets the stun, mana boots, no Vendetta just yet, looking for the body block, trying to get Luna into position. Great body blocking right now from G. He's got the move speed advantage as well. TP support is coming in from DDC and Yao. So in the end, that's going to put an end to the aggression right now for LGD.int, but again, it's not over-committed aggression. It's very calculated, very precise aggression. They know exactly who they can pick off, who they can burst down, who's got important spells, who to focus. Doing a great job. Brax has almost got a blink dagger picked up. Still a while away from that next Ravage, however. And Eclipse has been used as well for Pike Out. He does now have his BKB finished up and getting some more farm as well. Interesting to see that we don't have perhaps an urn or a drum for LGD.int, but we've got a gem picked up on 1437. Again, if you can get ahead, pick up the gem, completely deny your opponent any semblance of map control, though LGD.int shouldn't really even have any troubles heading up onto the high ground. They're just so far ahead in terms of farm right now, and they've got the Hand of God and the mech to fall back onto as well. Sylar continues to farm up. He's now finished up his relic, but still a few minutes away from finishing that Radiance, and just has no other farm to speak of. Normally would expect to see maybe some Tranquil Boots up on the hero itself, some boots up on the bear, maybe phase at this point, but it's just a completely naked relic and needs to last it perfectly. I mean, the death could always be around the corner, and dying on around 1,000 gold could mean that just a small difference in last hits could have had that Radiance up. The dewarding now commences for 157. He's got that gem up. Observer wards down, just having a quick check-in with the map vision. All LGD China have is their base, and LGD.int tabs on almost everyone's movements right now. Some slightly unconventional wards, especially on this middle lane, very unlikely to be countered here as well. This one a little bit more standard, but again, LGD.int have all of the map control right now. They could look towards Roshan at absolutely any time as well. They're just in a great spot, up 18 kills right now. They do LGD China do throw down one more sentry to try and guarantee a little bit of control up on this top lane, and everyone just deathballing around Sylar for now, saying, please just keep me safe while I finish up this Radiance. It might be our last hope of salvation. So LGD.int, as I say that, heading into the Roshan pit, they're going to have that Aegis up, and Luna now with the ultimate orb picked up as well, a little bit tankier there. Double damage as well, going to be bringing down Rosh very, very quickly. They've got the Gush minus armor to help as well. The tornado flies through, but I'm not sure if LGD China can even take this engagement. How far away is the Radiance? Not all that far, so just buying as much time as they possibly can. Throwing the EMP up onto the high ground. Pycat just dodging out of the way there, and Roshan now down on about 1500 HP. Going to be falling in just a second. And worth mentioning that, I mean, G was on mid. Had he been down in that pit, the Blink could have headed up onto the high ground any time to try and kill off the Invoker. And again, they do have that gem up on 1437. Could have even just palmed that off to the Nyx if they were looking for that kill on the Invoker. So, Zhao's gonna... Oh, they're still trying to turtle for now. I mean, they do have the EMP Tornado to fall back on. The Tornado flies through. Holding onto the EMP for now. Doesn't have anything else to combo up with that either. No point in Exhort or anything like that to try and keep people locked down in the EMP. The one point in the Exhort would afford him that Deafening Blast obviously. And it would be a fairly good knockback with the 3 points up in the quads, but just doesn't really have the levels right now. As soon as the aggression started top, he's been sticking with his team the whole time, sort of to his detriment. For some reason, I'm still on last hits Knives, but switching over to net worth. Sarlar is doing quite well, and looks like that might just be his Radiance finished up. It is, but the go is already happening on mid, and Yao needs to be careful. He's got that Soul Catcher up. Again, nothing to keep people locked down in that EMP, so all it is right now for the Invoker is a little bit of zoning. Tornado's going up. LGD.int not committing just yet. Looks like the Radiance is finished up for Sylar. Yes, it is, so the Bear's going to go back and pick that up. That's going to be a bit of a help in holding on to this base defense. But not sure if it's going to be enough, especially with all of these ultimates available and 2 Blink Daggers for LGD.int to try and capitalize on any small positioning mistakes. Stun not quite connected there from the lane, a little bit of a misplay. EMP is going to connect this time around, but G's going to reflect that. Creep Wave now wiped out, and the Radiance again is up to help out with this base defense. But LGD.int just have so many pairs of mana boosts that the EMP isn't really hurting them all that much. A lot of that just translating from the farm difference. And Misery's going to go back and replenish his creeps happily from the dire jungle right now. So LGD China, it's turtling for them right now, but LGD looking for any small opening that they can find. Going to be content to perhaps kill off the bear here. The EMP is going to connect one more time, but G reflects that. Actually being hit by the stun, dropping a little bit low. The mech actually pops as a lucky entangle. This might be the initiation. Brax tries to turn it around, pops off the Ravage. Are LGD China going to be able to retreat off? One already dead. The Eclipse pops, not connecting on anything there. Maybe a little bit of bad coordination from LGD.int, but it's gotten them up onto the high ground. They have committed 2 big ultimates so far. G moving forward, looking to burn out Yao's mana. He's looking for the perfect positioning on this reverse polarity. Now actually too low on mana. Almost farmed up that Blink Dagger, but no mana boots like we would normally expect to see on the Magnus. So Brack's going to blink forward just at the last second of that Chen send back. And again, tier 1's still up on mid, so they can keep doing this all day to keep regenerating people up. And he's even got a bottle in tow as well to try and keep people healed. So just refilling that back at the fountain. Could have even, does he get enough inventory space? Could have even perhaps taken G's bottle, though he would have had to drop his stout shield in the process. So I guess a minor point there. So we've now got a Necrobook picked up on Misery. It's rank 1. And LGD.int just happy to play the Starvation game right now. Again, they've got control of the jungle, and all that LGD China are finding is whatever turns up at their doorstep. They do have the Blink Dagger now finished up on the Magnus, so a little bit of a help there. And dedicating a few levels to the Invoker, so even in this bad position that they are in, playing it smart, playing it defensively. LGD.int, Spite Carapace pops off for G. Tornado EMP flying through, it is going to connect there on Pycat, though he's the only one affected. Needs to heal up a little bit. Is going to have the Tranquil Boots in just a second. Not really looking... Oh, they have used the mech already. And Hand of God on cooldown for now. So it looks like he's just going to have to wait around for a little bit. They do still have 2 whole minutes with that Aegis as well. So it's going to be slow rolling this push for at least a little while. So, for now, LGD China just sitting back, defending as best they can. I mean, they've got sentry wards waiting right outside their base, so not a smoke yank might not even connect. Can't go for anything ballsy. LGD.int building the cage perfectly right now, and just going back to farming for a little bit. I mean, we've got the Yasha finished up on Pycat. He's going to have that Manta style in just a sec. That's going to be a big help in terms of slow rolling these pushes. Misery is trying to just complete his creep army. Again, maybe pick up a few auras if he's lucky. Are there any wolves or anything like that? Alpha wolves? Not quite, so no lucky auras there. He could opt to pick up this Frost Ogre, but there's not all that much physical damage right now for LGD China. So, never say die for LGD.cn. They are finding farm on key heroes. They're still keeping supports out of XP range, getting more farm up on the Invokers. Higher levels on the EMP Tornado is going to be a big help there. And even looks like Sylar's just staying back, last hitting with the bear. So the gold is going to him, but the XP is in the hands of the Invoker. So even at this late stage of the game, playing it extremely smart. Any small differences that they can make could be enough to claw their way back into this game, though. Not feeling extremely optimistic about that. Manta Style is now flying out for Pycat. G's had that Blade Mail up for a while, opting for a little bit more survivability from the Vitality booster. The bear is able to help split push lanes out a bit, and Pycat maybe out of position here, gonna pop off the BKB, and immediately into the Eclipse is a kill with the stun flying through. Sylar maybe just a little bit too tanky, and there's only 2 heroes here with G, but good turnaround there from LGD.int. And not sure if Pycat was bait or if he was just actually a little bit out of position. DDC is able to steal off the Carapace there, but perfectly timed stun from G, going to be able to kill him off. Troll Trap coming in as well. 2 heroes dead right now for LGD China. There is a buyback available for the Invoker. They need his turtling potential, though the Rubik is going to be dead for that full duration. The reverse polarity is available, but it's only rank 1. Here comes the Tornado. The mech has already been used. The stun coming through as well, just trying to keep the creeps off the tower. And the Aegis is now down for Pycat. So just looking for the initiation at any time right now. Again, Mana Boots, they've got enough to fuel themselves against this EMP. And just such extreme patience from Meow, looking for the perfect reverse polarity. Maybe just a small positioning mistake from LGD.int could be enough to buy them at least a few minutes. Not sure if one team fight is going to buy them the game, obviously, since they've still got tier 1s, tier 2s, and tier 3s to push through in every lane. But LGD.int not being overzealous, just playing it safe for now, getting the farm up. I mean, I hazard to look at the golden XP. It's over 15k the difference right now, and over 12k the difference in XP at the moment. So that is quite a deficit to overcome, but again, they are putting gold on the important heroes and putting the levels on important heroes as well. Invoker now almost up to level 11. And the bear is still able to just safely farm away for Sylar. In terms of item progression, we've got 1437 actually just opting to pick up a vitality booster as well, so a little bit tanky there. And the big thing, I guess, in Dota, and I guess in any MOBA game, whatever you want to talk about, if you can outstrip the initial burst damage from the opposing team, a hero on 10 health does exactly the same amount of damage as a hero on full HP. So just picking up a little bit of raw survivability in the vitality booster can be enough to keep you on the edge of the fights, not to die to incidental AoE damage and the like. So for now, LGD.int just continue to farm up. How close is Misery to finishing off that Necro 3? Quite close. 1437 getting a few items up. Might see a Blink Dagger picked up on him as well, or perhaps a Force Staff, just for even more initiation potential. Pycat's now picked up a Morbid Mask, and now just TPing down towards bot. LGD.int actually just staying grouped up for now, so realizing that they're in an advantageous position and not wanting to be picked off at all. In this position, we would expect to sometimes see teams farming Ancients, farming their own jungle, farming the enemy jungle, just trying to accelerate their farm a little bit, but LGD.int just happy to sit back for now. And again, since nobody's died at all, not wanting to end any of these massive streaks. That is a lot of potential gold for LGD.cn. Blech. I don't know why that's so hard to say, but anyway. So the death ball continues, still deep warding for now. That was a sneaky ward, but 1437 on top of that. And LGD.int looks like they're just going to wait around for the next Roshan for now. Again, they're not in any hurry. The lone turret is getting a little bit scary, and once he got picked up on the bear, now has a Hyperstone, so not deviating from the standard build at all. Is going to be going for that AC. No pipe or anything anywhere near for LGD China. Don't think we have one on the way for LGD.int either, though. It does look like 1437's got something flying out right now. It's just going to be a medallion to try and pick up this Roshan a little bit faster. They've got really aggressive wards down for now, keeping all of their lanes pushed out, so they should be able to ensure this no problem, though. If LGD China were looking to make a move, I guess this would be one opportunity. They are fighting up against the rank 2 Ravage and almost a rank 3 Eclipse. And for now, LGD.int just heads straight into the pit. Roshan's going to be respawning in just a few seconds, and LGD China just forced to play the lane control game for a little bit. Could even be afraid that this is a bit of a gambit for LGD.int. I mean, they know that the Roshan timing is up. If they go for something too aggressive, then they could just be waiting right on top of this hill, waiting to utterly wipe them out as they come through. Again, they're playing with very, very little sight. They don't have tabs on any of LGD.int's heroes or anything along those lines. So, for now, LGD.int not doing anything too tricky, just heading straight into the pit. And 1437, where is he with that medallion? Not actually spamming it on cooldown, so Roshan taking a little bit longer than it might need to. And Invis actually picked up by 1437 there. I guess God obviously does have that It does have the vendetta to get into these team fights. So A just picked up one more time for LGD, and this is a 6-minute window where they are just so far ahead. It's not even funny. And LGD China, this needs to be the biggest defensive team fight of their life. Keep an eye on the DDC. If he can steal the Eclipse or the Ravage, they might be able to hold on, I guess, a little bit of the power to the Rubik, meaning that even while your opponents are so far ahead, can just continue to turn things around. And the Empower on the Bear, actually pretty good for keeping these lanes pushed out. Sylar, I suspect, has maybe the range indicator up for the Bear's auto attack range, just staying on the very, very edge of that for now. So LGD are actually going to go for the split up and farm right now. We saw them earlier just staying grouped up, so it's 3 heroes on mid. The Tornado EMP flies through. Pycat still undeterred though, playing aggressively. Again, there is still just the threat that all of LGD.int are just waiting in the wings. G has revealed himself off down on bot, but there's still the tier 1 on mid to jump to absolutely any time. And if he wants to split push a bit, he can even opt to pick up some boots of travel here as well. So looks like this might be the push for LGD.int. They've got the Necronomicon level 3 finished up, dewarding fantastically as well. They've got the Aegis, they've got the Helm of the Dominator. So maybe we've got even one more creep here. Does Pycat have one? Yes, he does. That looks like that's actually his Ursa Warrior there. So even more creep to send up onto the high ground. Here's the EMP Tornado. It will connect on Pycat, and what was stolen there? It's actually the Soul Catcher. This might be a small window of opportunity since that ultimate's going to be on cooldown for at least a few seconds, means that they can safely use the Ravage with impunity. But just slow rolling the push for now. The Chen creep still just tanking up. Centaur does finally take a fall, so a little bit more farm in the hands of LGD, but the tier 3 now broken, and still no big committal from LGD.int. They even still have the Manta Style up on Pycat, so those illusions are going to be wailing away on those racks in just a minute. Top and bot are actually pushing out heavily in favor of LGD China right now, so good awareness from them. LGD.int can't really switch over to another lane, try and slow roll down another tier 3 while they do still have that Aegis in hand. But for now, just harassment going back both ways. The Tornado flies through one more time. Not sure if the EMP is off cooldown. It is though. Now just thrown down. Looks like it's going to buy them a few more precious seconds, but got to admire the never say die for LGD China right now. Sunflies does connect on Sylar. They're now up onto the racks. The Radiance Burn doing some good damage against the illusions. His Telekinesis now used to throw Pycat back, but he's happy to be the primary target at the moment. And G moving forward, just zoning Yao out from the fight. Solo, great play by him. Brack still hiding off to the back. Doesn't want to be hit by that Radiance Burn. Would cancel off his blink. So G is actually in the base. Aggressive positioning from him. Has his Soul Booster finished up. The Rack's already down on half HP. And DDC dropping low. The Necro Mini maybe just looking for one last mana burn to kill him off. Still chasing through. And the Bouncing Glaive just doing so much damage. Just one Rack's already picked up from LGD, and with no big commitment whatsoever. Yao comes back, gets a skewer through onto G, who pops up the Spike Carapace. This might be one kill going the way of LGD China, but Brack comes in with the Initiate, and Yao already dead. Sylar Soul Catchered up. Looks like it's not going to be a kill in the end. 24 in hand for LGD.int, and Hand of God pops there as well, just to make sure that everyone makes it out. And the GG going to be called by LGD China. Xiao8 in the end will tap out, so it's a game apiece right now for G League. Looking forward to the final game of this best of 3 set. We do have one more game guaranteed coming your way in just a few minutes. I'm just going to wait for the final score screen. And fortunately, things have been pretty snappy in terms of getting through these games and getting in between them. So props to the organization of this tournament. Closing thoughts, I guess LGD.int, they got ahead from the start with some great unexpected, I suppose, ganks from the Shadow Demon and the Chen. And once they got on top, they managed to stay there. LGD China just reeling a little bit, not sure how to deal with this lineup from LGD.int, and I guess one word you can use is mind games, right? Nobody expects an aggressive jungle Chen, nobody expects really an aggressive roaming Shadow Demon, nobody expects them to be partnering up for that. The gank connected well on Invoker mid, everyone got split up a little bit from LGD China up on top, a few kills going here and there. So in the end, LGD.int take game 2. As always, I'm Bazekip, this is G League. A reminder that there are a whole bunch of other people covering those tournaments, so if you don't like my coverage, Beyond the Summit and Join Dota are both doing it as well. So yeah, that's been game 2. Stay tuned for more Dota action, and I hope to see you in future broadcasts if you are watching the